Hello, Spirit Familia. I have a thought on my mind and I just want to share it because, I've really committed to showing up here and however I am. And it's a little cold in Miami for the next few days. And so I was excited I could straighten my hair. Um, and I felt like having fun and, just putting a little bit of makeup on, even if it's natural, but and it's so interesting. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make my video and do this thing. And I'm like, I'm already judging, like, oh, but I'm gonna show up with makeup and that's gonna compare to like my other videos where I don't show up with makeup and I'm gonna set a standard. I'm like, no, no, this is the standard I'm setting. The standard is show up as you are. The standard is you have makeup, beautiful, because you're beautiful. You don't have makeup, beautiful, because you're still beautiful, right? Because what makes you beautiful is not this. Yes, we can have fun with this. Yeah. We can go, we can get active, we can join with other people, we can dance with our body, we can make ourselves look good, we can have fun. But we do not attach the truth of who we are to just how we look and how we show up on any given day. That is not the truth of who we are. Our behavior, not the truth of who we are. Look at children. And that just transfers over to adults because adults are just walking children with, big bodies with children inside, wounded children, and then like the inner healed child as well. We have it inside, and we're just walking around with bigger bodies, playing a role, wearing a mask about who we're supposed to be, the adult we're supposed to be, the responsibilities we have. And yet inside, we all carry this innocent child as well as the wounded child, right? The ego, and then the love. Those two parts of us we carry within us. And yet, only one defines who we truly are. The other one is the cause of pretty much everything else that isn't who we truly are. But we come to learn that, right? Like that concept in the Course in Miracles for me was just so eternally helpful. Like it changed everything to understand that our mind is split, that we hold the space for love, spirit, truth, right? Within us, like our mind carries it. And we also hold the space for the lack of love, ego mindedness, comparison, destruction, hate, separation, doubt, fear. Both are equally available if we are in the human experience. It's literally what makes it a human experience, right? And yet, the spirit in us, the truth in us, the love in us always, always, always prevails. It is all that is. 333, as I say that on the clock. It is all that is. And the spiritual journey is just discovering that about ourselves and discovering that about our brother. And so, yeah, let's have fun with makeup. Let's have fun and go out and dance, or, it doesn't have to be a night of dance. For me, that's been like a challenge. Like I went out to a friend's birthday and I've been really feeling the call now to like dance again. I really love to dance. I was never a dancer, I was a musician, right? But dancing was a huge part of my expression. And in my spiritual awakening, I took a break from it. I just disconnected. The truth is, I naturally disconnected from my body. So, no makeup, no, not really, just went. When I said I went in, I went in. And now, last year or so, I started to show up differently because I feel it's just like a natural interest in it again. If there's something I feel really good about that I've been able to follow is just intuitively go with what feels right, right? Not forcing myself to do something a certain way or not do it because other people's journeys look this way or mine. Yes, we can get the doubts of comparison, but like ultimately, I don't change what I'm doing. You see? And I'm even like, oh, look at the lighting. This is so fucking fun. So interesting how we can get caught up. And so I share that with you because I'm sure I'm not the only one, right? You can get caught up. Um, oh no, I have a wrinkle here, looks a little darker here, and you know what's funny? It's because I've actually um put on makeup. And so now I have like a new expectancy of how I should look. I mean, this is very light natural makeup, right? Um, but there goes the mind. The mind is the mind. It will project, it will release, it'll think specifically from the egoic perspective that something is never enough. That is like the signature of the ego. It's never enough. Whatever you have is never enough. It's not good enough. Yeah, it's not good enough. What else is a signature of the ego? There is no solution here. Like you feel like you're in a caught, you're caught in a catch 22. So when you feel like that, egoic, like we're looking at everything from an egoic perspective. We're understanding everything and we're limiting the solution or the perspective that is needed, the vision to actually come forward and find a solution if a solution is needed, right? Like, I mean, the Course in Miracles even takes us to say we don't even know what the problem is. So how could we even, I think we know what the solution will be if we don't, we're not here to know what the problem is. We're here to trust. We're here to hand over our beliefs, right? Hand it over to spirit. Look at what's going on in the mind. Watch the mind. Sorry, I know there's a lot of cars and trucks and stuff coming by. Hopefully I'm close enough that you can hear me. But yeah, like that is our job, is to watch the mind. And just like that passing truck, okay, there's this passing thought, there's this passing belief, right? Like I was looking at my face and I'm like, passing thought. Is it true? Does it say who I am? Does it in any way, um, does it in any way define me? No, it doesn't, unless I let it. Unless I let it define me. So that's the invitation to power, right? When you know you have a split mind, then you are the decision maker. The mind is split, and we have the power over what am I looking at this with? Am I looking at this with the spirit, right? With love, through light of truth? Or am I looking at this through darkness, through opinion, through comparison, through separation? All of that, through fear, through doubt. And that can at least allow us to be like, okay, if I'm looking at here, you know, you're going to know by the way you feel. And if I'm looking at it from here, then I also know by the way I feel, but then I can do the next step and say, this is what I'm believing. And I can see it, and I can see these are my thoughts. My thoughts are not me, they're mine, right? They belong to me. They belong to the mind that is thinking it. And I power that mind. Therefore, I have the ability to release that thought, not avoid it, not stick it under the rug, not say, oh no, that's not true. I'm going to go over here and be positive, 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 because that's toxic positivity. It doesn't help anybody. It's false. It's bypassing. But it is about saying like, oh my God, okay, I'm feeling this. I see this. And if I really feel it and believe it deeply, then I feel through it. I let it move through me. I say everything I have to say in a safe space. I write it in a journal. I'm truthful to that. And yet, my purpose of using that is not to get stuck in it and to wallow. My purpose is to release it, to give it over to truth, to give it over to the spirit, right? To give it over to the other mind who can then translate it and look at it with a new light. And then you're like, that's what this was for. That's what this is doing for me. This is the lie I was believing, whatever it is, right? So the light of truth is always, always gonna reach you, but you are like the decision maker. You were given the power to choose the light of truth, to choose the spirit, even when in darkness, even when the shadows is all it seems is in front of you. Just realize all this came from talking about like putting on makeup and not putting on makeup, or like having doubt thoughts. But this is what it is. These are seemingly a small example, a daily example, and then something else would be something bigger, right? Like a breakup of a relationship, and yet, and yet, the Course in Miracles teaches us. Yeah, Jesus and the Spirit are teaching us. There's this beautiful line, and it says, "There are no small upsets." And an upset is anything that creates discomfort in the mind, right? It's not just like being upset, it's any upset. And there are no small upsets means from the smallest, seemingly smallest one to the seemingly biggest one, they are all one and the same because they are believing in the same thing. It seems like it's on different levels. One seems more serious than the other, but that's another part of the ego mind, making everything seem like it's all different and complicated when really it's just accessing and looking at it from a mind of levels of better than, of worse than, of easier than, of harder than. And yes, this is deeply philosophical, mystical, yeah, spiritual teaching. And yet it's so important because we think that in the smaller things, it's not, like, oh, we just kind of brush it off. But like for the bigger thing, I need to heal. No, we heal through the small things. We heal through the decision of how we feel with makeup. We heal through how we treat a person when they say hello, right? We heal by watching our mind and seeing what we feel about every single practical, mundane moment. All of that put together is a life. There's a beautiful post I saw the other day, and I was just like, don't try to, make your dream life, sort of like work on your day, because your life is made up of days. And so, in the sense of like when we're experiencing all of this, really what it is what we're trying to ultimately get to beyond days, beyond, a life is a moment of rest, of healing, of real joy, of being truthful, right? Not only truthful to others, because that's the step in authenticity, which I spoke about in another video. Authenticity is huge, huge in liberating yourself, right? And really freeing and accessing joy and happiness and peace, like just being you in any given moment. And ultimately knowing who you truly are. Um, but yeah, that's part of it. But then the invitation in this video is like authenticity to what's showing up here. And we can't be authentic to what's showing up, what I'm believing, what I think about this, what I think about myself in this situation. I can't be authentic to it if I'm not watching my mind. I can't be real towards it if I'm not being honest of what I'm believing in, what I feel about this. That's why the journaling, that's why the expression is so important in a safe place, right? Yeah. And many times the things that we feel can be quite dark, they're just very untrue. They're garbage. But the volcano needs to release the lava. The lava needs to come out. If not, you get sick. Yeah. Then you get sick because ultimately the mind was sick first. And the body starts to reflect because we're not being true, either to the world or to ourselves, to what's actually going on. I personally, I was such a people pleasing child and like easygoing, do whatever my sister wanted because she was just naturally a more dominant, Leo um, child. And she had so much energy and she had so many ideas. And I just followed along everything with what she said and what she did in her. And just throughout childhood, I just learned to follow along what everybody else wanted to do. That was easier, just to smile, to be happy, not to be upset. And, it led me to passive aggressiveness because I didn't know how to truly express what I wanted, but I was never asked what I wanted. I was never asked for my opinions. So I truly never got to use my voice to say what I thought. But even before that, because no one ever asked me for my opinion, and it wasn't like on purpose, it was just, the way things were. Nobody's at fault here. But because that is what happened, I never got the opportunity to be aware of what I feel, of like, I don't like this. No, I don't want to do this. Like, I wasn't even in touch with the feelings and the thoughts that would then flag the need within me to want something different, to do something else. So this is the invitation. I don't know if, any of you on here can connect with that, but that's definitely where I found myself. And a big part of me stepping into authenticity was first watching my mind. What thoughts am I thinking? What am I believing? And my emotions are a great um, compass to show me what I'm believing, to show me what I'm thinking. And therefore, once I got the Course in Miracles, it just put it plainly. Any of these thoughts, you're either looking at them through the lens of the spirit, through the lens of love, or you're looking at it through the lens of the ego, through the lens of fear and separation. That is what's happening. And one is not who you are and is always going to lead you further away from who you are, towards more blockages, towards more pain. And yet, it's not to avoid it or sweep it, right? Let's say that again, 1616 on the clock. It's not to do that. It's to move through it. It's to identify it, to see it and be like, wow, okay, this is happening. So that ultimately this part of our mind, which is the true part, which is our essence, which connects us forever to God, to love, to his love, to her love, right? To just this non-gender, because our language limits us with gender, but this ultimate, pure, abstract love and light. And that light can shine upon what has been seemingly believed for so long, all the blockages, all the shadows, right? And so we have to look at the shadow, but with the purpose of looking at it with love, with the purpose of awakening, with the purpose of wanting to see it differently, with the purpose of coming to truth, of healing, of a true experience, right? Not just like theoretical. So let's do that. Let's watch our minds. Yeah, this is the invitation. Watch our minds in the small things, seemingly small things, to the bigger things. Remember, there are no small upsets. Any doubts, any judgments, things, those are all things that are coming in the mind. They are not who you are, but they are moving through you. And and you can start to decipher which ones are pulling me away from who I truly am, and which ones are actually aligning, bringing me into the truth of who I am, right? How I see my brothers, how I see myself, what opinions I've made, and yet always staying truthful to what's showing up if emotionally we are caught up in something. Stay true to that. Don't avoid it. Don't avoid it. And come forward in truth. Use your journal, find a mighty companion, like the Course in Miracles invites us. We actually, you don't even find it. As soon as you start being more authentic, listening to yourself, watching your mind more, becoming more aware of what you really want and what you don't want, you begin to open yourself just naturally, your energy, your vibration, right? The frequency of love begins to come out more because it's who you are. And now there's more space to radiate it because you've taken out some blockages here and there. And that begins to connect with others. Yeah, and you begin to feel called to go to a retreat, to go to a meeting, to do, to have coffee with that person, whatever it is. You start to feel more connected and open up a little more. And then you find people on the journey who want to learn, who want to open up, who also want to heal. And so it's beautiful because, specifically with Course in Miracles students and people who are following A Course in Miracles, mighty companionship is so big. Letting out the darkness and bringing it out to the spirit is so big. And our brothers can be the ones holding the light while we're in darkness. In every relationship, may there always be one, it says it right, that holds the light while the other one is lost. And so sometimes we can use a journal, but as we walk forward, you will see how important it is to walk with other brothers because yeah, the the gateway to heaven is you don't enter heaven alone. We do this together. We do this together. Remember that forever. What you see in your brother, you see in yourself. What you believe about your brother, you believe about yourself. And I'm not talking about the actual belief, but like, uh, you know, yeah, like, oh, I believe this person is ugly and I'm actually beautiful, so I don't believe I'm ugly. No, that's not what I'm saying. That because you believe someone is ugly and you've made that judgment, that now you believe yourself to be ugly when you actually believe you're beautiful. It's not about what you're believing, it's the fact that you believe in ugly and beautiful. That's the belief you believe in. That difference, that somehow makes you different, that is separation, right? I'm different from my brother. I'm better than. There's comparison there. That is what you believe in. You still believe in that. And that is a trap. That is the deeper, deeper belief. So that's when I say what we believe about others, we believe about ourselves is like the system, the structure that we believe in is what it ultimately we believe it about ourselves. And we will have those judgments about ourselves over time in other situations. We'll find ourselves being the one judged upon because we believe in it. So that was a little bit of a tangent, but really the invitation is to walk together, right? Because we're in this together, because we are one, because our minds are connected, because we live similar stories. They may change in content, but the they may change in form. That's what I was saying. They may change in form, but the content is the same. We're awakening to love. We're awakening to who we truly are. Two, two, two. And we do it together in twos. There you go. That is how we enter heaven. And heaven is not a place outside of us, it is a state that we enter. It is a state of true oneness, of joy, of happiness, abundance. Something I pray for every single person on this video to know your true state. Spirit, let us all know our true state. Guide us infinitely again and again to who we truly are. Love you all. Until next time. I never even gave my name. Sometimes I forget. I'm Steph if you if you stayed until the end. Sometimes that happens. If you stayed until the end, I'm Stefania. You can call me Steph. And this is Spirit Led Steph, my channel where I show up as I am with whatever's coming up and, bring in the spiritual insights, yeah, whatever's moving through me, the messages from spirit and from my heart, um, so that we can walk this path together. We can heal together and we can become more and experience more of a fulfilled, meaningful, peaceful life, joyful life. All right. Love you all.